जाए और यदि आपको इससे कुछ सीढ़ियां मिल भी जाए वो भी
Good? Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, tell me what's your name.
Suniti. Hitasha. Anusha.
Okay, and tell me, how old are you all?
13. I'm 14. 14.
Wow. All right, so we got some young teenagers here. So can you tell me, what is it about the film that you really like today?
So today I found the concept like extremely interesting. Like how you can take like the idea of like Mahavir Bhagwan's story and make it into an actual movie.
That's awesome. What about you?
I like same thing, yeah, like I didn't think that the story of Mahavir Bhagwan, all his previous births and everything would be put into one movie together. So I found it really amazing.
And you?
I really liked how they showcased the different births and how what they did in each of the births to get to the point where Mahavir Bhagwan took Diksha and then he took Moksha. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, what is it about Jainism that you would love to teach your friends without having to say, hey, you have to be Jain? But like, how is it that you can actually apply it to your friendships with your friends today?
So like a lot of times like some of like the younger kids, they'd be like stepping on ants or like doing something stupid. So like maybe the idea of like non-violence could help the world so much. Just like don't kill things. Like
Yeah, non-violence in another way could be like just vegetarians. Like you don't have to eat meat every single night. Maybe try to like lower it down. Maybe eat it like 3 or 4 times a week if you don't want to completely get rid of it.
Like show and teach nonviolence. Don't try to hurt other people with feelings or physically. I feel like that's like a really big concept that we can teach.
You're 5 years old. You're such a big boy. Did you just watch that amazing movie? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you like it? What did you like about it?
How the lion learned not to eat meat.
Yeah. Is that the biggest thing that stood out for you? Yeah. That's amazing.
Amazing movie. Great production, amazing animation, amazing movie.
Okay. Hi. What's your name?
Chirag.
And how old are you? Don't answer that.
I was ready though. I was ready.
Where are you coming from?
Scarsdale.
Okay. So, what is it about this movie that you really liked a lot?
I just I like the form and the manner in which was presented. It's more digestible and easier for kids to understand. And as a parent now, for the last couple of years, it's always a struggle on how to teach the religion. Like we know it's important. We want to teach it to our kids, but we don't have the right tools to do it. And so movies like this are hopefully a good way to start doing it. You know, I didn't realize that Mahavir Bhagwan was a lion in a prior life and he had all these other lives. I think I like the way that it kind of teaches you that, you know, we're just a point in time. Like we're the same soul, it's just different bodies. For you to be able to process that on a daily basis, like whoever you're talking to, they were someone in a prior life, they're going to be someone else in the next life, and just, you know, be kind and keep being generous and it'll come back to you.
What was the one thing about the movie that stood out for you?
The animation, like because it's a movie, like and they didn't have any experience, so I will not say about the virtues or anything, but the way the quality was, it didn't seem like as if some immature people have made it, so it seemed like a very professional movie.
Okay, and then what's the one thing that you learned from the movie that stood out for you?
That happiness is all inside, it's not outside.
I live in New Jersey and I actually thought about it that it will be a great experience for my daughter and for me as well. I mean, it was a long drive, but I literally planned a day to come here and to see the movie. And I really loved it. And one thing I liked about it, like how the Muniraj gives lessons to that sea and how he listens, and that animation was like really good, it was touching. I love that part.
Hi, my name is Arav, and I found the movie very interesting and inspiring. I found the length to be perfect for someone my age who's looking to learn more about Jainism, and it gave the perfect amount of detail for me to learn a little bit but also want to learn more. So I'm really thankful for everyone who helped create the movie, and I really hope to share it and learn more. Thank you.
So are you excited about the fact that this movie was put together and showcased in a theater like this?
Of course, it's a dream come true. No questions asked. It's a dream come true. It's a beautiful.
What do you think what the little kids that came today to watch this film, what do you think they're thinking?
I think they must have really learned the different bhavs of Bhagwan, must have really realized that the soul this is just not one life. The soul migrates. They are subconsciously, they have learned very, very minute principles of Jainism. And we are not teaching them, we are not telling them to do anything. Just by seeing movie, they are grasping it. I think this is the beautiful way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
What was your favorite part of the story?
When he when he was a kid, when he was a king, but then he gave up everything to become just to become like James, be by himself. Like he doesn't need anything.
That's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
Could you, if you had to live without something today, what would that be?
My phone.
Okay, so now you're not Jane, right? No, but do you have friends that are Jane?
Yeah.
And did they bring you here today?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is he your best friend?
One of them.
That's awesome. Well, listen, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us what's your name.
Vinit?
Hi, Vinit. All right, so tell us, are you Jain?
Yes.
And have you grown up with Jainism all your life?
Yes, all around me.
What is the one thing about Jainism that has stood out for you?
The principles themselves are very prevalent, right? Ahimsa, that's something anyone can easily relate to and makes sense. It's not about this, that, it's just, hey, be nice to others and treat others like you'd want others to treat you, which is simple to get behind.
So as a kid growing up with Jainism, I'm sure there was a lot of questions that you must have had as a kid. And now that you're a young man, an adult, what is the one thing that has stood out for you? So when you were younger, you didn't understand it, but now you do, and it just makes sense with you understanding it without someone else having to explain it to you. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Right? Why are parents passing down certain values? Why are they so driven to take certain actions and go down certain routes? I think that is inherent, and I think that makes a lot more sense to me now than it did before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the first time you came and saw this movie. What was it about the movie that you liked?
I think overall, just the approach of trying to do something for the audience. I think the intended audience for something like this would probably be younger adults or kids. Just trying to do something that they can relate to, rather than something that we're all used to, which is Bashala, which is books, which is having a teacher. You know what? We know kids love YouTube videos. Kids love watching Netflix. Kids love animation. Hey, why don't we just do something in that format where they think they're listening to a story or learning a story, and it's not like tied around reading a book, going to class, or something of that sort.
So what did you think about the movie today?
I thought the movie was amazing. I thought it was really nice to see how we were able to take all the stories that we've learned as kids and see it in like a visual format when we're so used to just having to imagine it in our head. So it was nice to see it come to life.
Today that was featured as an animation. What stood out for you?
Okay, even before I say what stood out for me, when the movie began, I had a flashback. And that was when my son, my first son, he's today 16, he's going to be turning 16. When he was 2 years old, he's seen everything, okay? To keep him connected with our culture and to stay Indian, right? He saw animated Krishna Bhagwan, okay, Ganesh Ji, and Ghatotkacha, so everything possible to keep him connected. So today when Mahavir Bhagwan ka came, I was so happy to see an animation and say, great, now we can bring our future generation to see Mahavir Bhagwan, our Jainism. So that is the first thing that I was very happy to say and see. And what struck to me is the simplicity of Mahavir Bhagwan and him trying to preach that.
What is one thing about the film that stood out for you?
Well, if I speak as a scholar of religion, which I am, it's quite interesting to see that there's a lot of parallels with the Buddhist tradition. So if you think about the Abrahamic traditions, Judeo-Christian, Islamic traditions, and the way they represent their knowledge, they have a lot of similarities. They talk about prophets, they talk about miracle stories, etc. And there's a genre, a way of understanding religious knowledge that they mimic from each other. And I started seeing that happening in the portrayal of Mahavira, is that there's a genre in which similar kinds of narratives occur in other traditions that were growing at the same time, 5th century BCE. Buddhism, for example, the Buddha's mother also has a dream, and that's the dream of the Buddha being born inside her. Same with the portrayal in this movie. And then there's 32 lakshanas, 32 signs of a great being on the Buddha. There's 108 signs on Mahavira. And then the Buddha has a renunciation and goes for 6 years. Mahavira has a renunciation, etc. So there's a genre in which this kind of being, whether it's a Tirthankara or whether it's a Buddha that comes, is depicted. And so I was seeing it in that lens from a scholar's perspective.
Right.
But I also take that scholar's hats off and I see it from a diaspora community lens and see that the great efforts of a Jain community and the Jain Center in putting the money where their mouths are in terms of speaking the values of Jainism but not having the infrastructure for it to be participated in. And movies like this give those gaps some institutional structure in life, yes. So that's how I see it without the scholar's view, is that this is a great effort for a community to understand itself through its own knowledge systems. And we actually do not realize how precious they are. And I think what happened in the speeches on the film is that from every single speech you got the same message, which was we have a treasure. Our own community has a treasure. It's a treasure to see through the eyes of a Jain. It's a treasure to see through the eyes of a Buddhist. It's a treasure, all non-Western traditions, because they're being subjugated and colonized and dismissed and disrespected often. And so the communities look to the value system that's dominating to get jobs, to get educated, and they don't realize how much of the Abrahamic tradition seeps into their own subconscious. So these efforts are actually priceless because they act as a buffer against that seeping into your subconscious, so that you have an organic, natural resistance to have a viewpoint that's different.
Stay simple, live simple, and then your soul attains moksha.
Like it taught you about Jainism and like how it taught the person not to be killing animals.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Think of the movie that you saw today.
It was very inspiring, especially like how you could follow this path and become just the same as Bhagwan and obtain happiness and definitely in a very easy way. It's just to believe in yourself and
Just believe in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Hi, tell me what's your name.
My name is Mahir.
Tell us, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay, so Mahir, as a 16-year-old, how has Jainism been introduced into your life?
I think Jainism has been part of my life since as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a child, I've been going to temple every single Sunday, going to Surbyanti's Pachala classes, and really understanding how Jainism influences our lives and the world around us.
So as a 16-year-old, I'm going to put you on the spot for this one. As a 16-year-old, what is it about Jainism that you really understand? Like in the most simplest form, what is it that you really understand that you can actually teach a 5-year-old today?
I think if I summed up Jainism in one word, I think it would be non-violence. That's the aspect that's really stuck with me throughout my entire life, through my political beliefs, my moral views. I think non-violence is something that Jainism's really helped me understand, and something I want to spread into the world as I grow older and go to college.
That's amazing. And did you see the movie today?
Yes, I did.
And the animation aspect of it, the movie, what was one thing about the movie that you learned today that you didn't know before?
So first I just really liked how the movie just showed Mahavir Bhagwan's entire story so simply. And I learned about how Mahavir Bhagwan had to go through countless dozens of lives to finally become the Tirthankar and spread so much knowledge onto us.
My name is Sanjay Jain. Okay. और आपको मूवी कैसी लगी overall? I think it's a beautiful movie and it's an excellent creation of the teachings of the life of Lord Mahavira, and I think it's a very novel way to show to the younger kids that that they can relate better, because when they see in a movie they relate better to it. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I must congratulate the organizers and taking the initiative in making this movie.
And what did you think of the movie overall? Just high level thoughts.
The movie overall is first of all, somebody has thought on it. It was very good teamwork, and that's what I heard on podium is I think they worked for almost 6 years. It is everybody is busy within their life, and then they're taking time out just because they have passion, just because they have interest, and just because they want to do something. First of all, we all are gents, and somebody really wants to put up things together and make some work. To see everything was very good. Looking at the first initial effort, it doesn't look like this is the first effort. It looks like somebody was really well settled, and then they brought us almost very good professional touch to the entire movie. It was very well made, very good efforts.
All right, thank you.
She's been such an influential person in our lives and has taught us a tremendous amount about Jainism, which will carry with us throughout our lives. So now we'd like to call her up on stage to share a few words about the movie we're about to see today.
Today, we all will ride through the greatness of our culture and religion. Any philosophy is useful only if it can be truly applied to daily life. The fundamentals of life and death, karmas, and the process of disintegrating those karmas to attain moksha. We all know that the wisdom of all the ages have been contained in ancient scriptures, and it is not easy to understand for a common man. We also realize that the human potential must be realized in a lifetime. We laid the foundation of this movie over a very casual conversation. Charuji and I had countless discussions about the script and simplifying it to the extent that our newer generations can really relate to the fundamentals of the core philosophies. I'm sure your hearts will be touched by this true story of Mahavir with its intricate interplay of emotions and wisdom. Thank you. Jai Jineन्द्र.